Hello guys, welcome to TNPSC AO classes by Tarvos Education, and this particular video is continuation of our 2023 PYQs. This is the part 2. In part 1 we have already focused few questions and we are concentrating on agricultural economics and agribusiness management questions. With this we'll move on to the video. So your first question will be, which of the following is included in computing cost C? This question comes from production economics. So, option A, imputed value of family labor, B, depreciation, C, rental value of leased in land, and D, rental value of owned land. So, which of the following will be included in the in computing the cost C? Correct option will be option A, imputed value of family labor. The cost concepts comes under CACP, Commission of Agricultural Cost and Prices. So what CACP does is CACP calculates the cost of cultivation of the crops and recommends the government of India to fix the MSP, minimum support price. So CACP only recommends it. Who fixes it? It is fixed by CCEA, Cabinet Committee of Economic Affairs. CCEA will fix the MSP, minimum support price. So under cost C, we include imputed value of family labor. So under cost 1, we include all the variable costs, that is irrigation charges, fertilizer charges, herbicide charges, chemicals, pesticides, everything comes under cost A. And cost, that is cost A1, and cost A2 will be cost A1 plus rent paid for leased in land. And cost B is cost A2 plus rent value of owned land plus interest on fixed capital, and cost C will be cost B plus imputed value of family labor. And you can expect questions from both of this, cost B and cost C. Next is question number 156. Which of the following is not the characteristics of an isoquant? Again from production economics. Option A, isoquant slope downwards from left to right. Option B, concave to the origin. Option C, place above another represents higher output. And option D, non-intersecting with each other. So correct option will be option B, concave to the origin. Isoquant is always convex to the origin. I have already insisted you people many a times, please focus on product-product relationship, factor-factor relationship, and factor-product relationship. From production economics, you can expect most of the questions from this area. Okay, so what is isoquant? Isoquant is a concept that comes under factor-factor relationship. Iso stands for same and quant stands for quantity. So isoquant is a curve. You can tell it as a locus which shows the combination of inputs which yield same output. Iso, same, quant is quantity or product. So same product producing two input combination is called as isoquant. And isoquant will always be convex to the origin. It is not concave to the origin. It will always be convex to the origin, and it will slope from left to right. If you are placing more isoquants, we call it as isoquant map, and isoquant away from the origin. The higher isoquant represents the higher output, and they never intersect each other. And one more important point is that the slope of isoquant is marginal rate of technical substitution. You call it as MRTS. MRTS will be the slope of isoquant. So we have already discussed all these concepts and why it slopes downward from left to right. Because of this concept, marginal rate of technical substitution will be diminishing in the isoquant curve. That is, each addition of input will leads to the reduce in the additional output, not the total output. Reduction in the additional output will be reduced. That is the concept. Our next question is again from production economics. So the question number is 157. Which of the following is a continuously falling curve? Totally, there are 7 cost curves. So they are asking which cost curve is a continuously falling curve. Option A, AFC, average fixed cost. Option B, AVC, average variable cost. Option C, ATC, average total cost. And option D, marginal cost, EMC. So the correct option is AFC, average fixed cost. So what are the 7 cost curves? You can also expect the questions from other cost curves and the formula of calculating those costs also. So please make sure you remember all those things. And these are direct factual question. It takes nearly 1 or 2 seconds to answer such kind of questions. Okay. So starting with fixed cost, it is a cost incurred on fixed inputs. It do not changes with the change in the input or change in the output. Next is variable cost. Variable cost is cost incurred on the variable inputs. It increases with the increase in output or decreases with the decrease in output. If you are summing the fixed cost and variable cost, you will get the total cost. Apart from this three, these are other costs: average fixed cost, average variable cost, average total cost, and the marginal cost. Okay. So starting with the cost curves of these things, FC, VC, and TC. FC, as I said, it do not change with the change in the level of output or input, so it will always be parallel to the input axis, that is x-axis. It will always be parallel to x-axis. This will be your fixed cost curve. It is a horizontal straight line. And variable cost, it changes with the change in input or change in output, so it will be inverse S-shaped. And total cost is combination of fixed cost and variable cost. It is also inverse S shape, but it doesn't start from origin. It starts somewhere in the middle of y axis. This will be your variable cost curve. And this cost curves, AFC, AVC, ATC, and MC, you call it as unit cost curve, because AFC is nothing but the average of fixed cost divided by output Y. It is FC divided by the output Y. And similarly, average variable cost is VC, variable cost divided by the output Y. Average total cost is total cost divided by output Y. Or you can also calculate it by summing up the average fixed cost and the average variable cost. Marginal cost is change in total cost due to change in output. What will be the change in total cost when you are changing the output, when you are increasing or decreasing the output? This will be your marginal cost. And if you are seeing the curves of these things, let me erase everything and please bear with my handwriting. Okay. Okay. If we are seeing the curves of these concepts, then average fixed cost will always be falling curve. It will never increase, because as output getting increased, the fixed cost will goes on declining. The average fixed cost will go on declining. Next comes average variable cost. Average variable cost is a U-shaped curve. Next is average total cost. It is also a U-shaped curve. And final one is marginal cost. Marginal cost is also U-shaped, and it cuts the average fixed cost and average variable cost at its lowest point. So let me mark it. This will be marginal cost, and this will be average fixed cost, and this will be average variable cost, and this will be your average total cost. Okay, please bear with my handwriting. Okay. If you are not understanding this, you can refer from Google also. So remember, marginal cost will cut average variable cost and average total cost at its lowest point. And when marginal cost is below AVC and ATC, both the AVC curve and ATC curve will be declining, which means that the average variable cost and average total cost will be declining only when the marginal cost is below it. When marginal cost start increasing, then average total cost and average variable cost will also start increasing. All these three curves are U-shaped curve except AFC. AFC is alone. It is we call it as rectangular hyperbola. That is also one of the important questions. So the explanation I have already given. So the curve shape of AFC is rectangular hyperbola. Remember this. Our next question is question 158, again from production economics. It is something related to product relationship. The curve representing all possible combinations of two products. We have already seen this concept before in the same video. It was two inputs. Okay. Here we are speaking about two products that could be produced with the given amount of resources. Here the input is fixed, but the output combination is differing. Option A, expansion path. Option B, isoquant. Option C, production possibility curve. And option D, isocline. So the correct option is option C, production possibility curve. So before we have seen isoquant. So what does isoquant mean? It means that all possible combination of two inputs that produces the same output. Opposite to isoquant is production possibility curve. And the same way, isoquant is convex to the origin. We have seen it. And production possibility curve is concave to the origin. Okay. The slope of isoquant is MRTS, marginal rate of technical substitution. MRTS, it is marginal rate of technical substitution. The slope of production possibility curve is MRPS, marginal rate of product substitution. Okay. Remember these things. So we have already discussed this. We'll move on to next questions. Okay, before that, what is expansion path? So expansion path is something like when you are having many isoquants and the line that connects equal slope of isoquant is what you call it as isocline. And when we are connecting it with the price line or the budget line, the isocline which passes through the least cost combination, LCC. If it passes through LCC, we call it as expansion path. If it passes through the equal slopes of the isoquant, then we call it as isocline. Expansion path is nothing but it is a special type of isocline. Okay. And if you have a border line in this, we call it as a ridge line. Okay. It is also a special type of isocline which segregates complementary from the substitute goods. All these concepts are important. It comes under product relationship, factor factor relationship. So our next question is from firm management. The type of ownership is individual and that of the operatorship is collective in case of, which means that the land ownership will be in the hands of a particular person or an individual, but the forming operation, the exact forming process will be collective in a group. Okay, in case of option A, cooperative tenant forming; B, cooperative joint forming; option C, cooperative collective forming; option D, cooperative better forming. So the correct option will be option B, cooperative joint forming. So under form management, there are two important topics you need to cover. One is types of forming and next one is systems of forming. Types of forming, it is of 5 types, and even system of forming, it is 5 types. So types of forming: specialized forming, diversified forming, mixed forming, rain-fed forming, ranching. Under system of forming, it is peasant forming, capitalistic forming, state forming, cooperative forming, and collective forming. Again, under cooperative forming, it is of cooperative tenant forming, cooperative joint forming, cooperative collective forming, and cooperative better forming. So in each case, the ownership and operatorship will be different. You need to remember that there will be a table in a Subbareddy book, so you can see that. And even in our detailed class, we have explained all these things. So in case of tenant forming, the ownership will be collective, but the operationship will be individual. Okay, ownership is collective, operationship is individual. And in case of cooperative joint forming, it is individual and collective, opposite to the tenant forming. In case of cooperative collective forming, it is like both are collective. Ownership is also collective and the operation will also be collective. In cooperative better forming, it is exactly opposite to collective forming. Both will be individual and individual. Ownership is also individual, operationship is also individual. Okay. And this is the explanation we have already seen. Our next question is also on form management. Form management is considered to fall in the field of option A, macroeconomics; option B, business economics; option C, microeconomics; option D, environmental economics. The correct option is option C, microeconomics. Again, there is a tableau column in Subba Reddy book. You can refer to that book. It is the difference between farm management and the production economics. Okay. So, farm management is a microeconomic concept. Production economics is a macroeconomic concept. So since we are dealing with many forms, we tell production economics as a macroeconomic concept, and it is also called as interform study, where we study between the forms. But but form management, it comes under microeconomics, and we call it as intra-form study. Intra means within the form. We do the study within the form, how the farmer manages his farm, and we concentrate only an individual farmer and not the entire system or the entire district or the entire group of farmers. That is the major difference between the production economics and farm management. So, by speaking about production economics is an integral part of agricultural economics, but farm management, it is an part of production economics. Right? We'll move on to next question. Question 161. It is on development economics. Access by all people at all times to enough food for an active, healthy life is called as. It is a direct factual question. I think I need not to explain much about this question. So, option A, food security, B, social security, C, public distribution system, and D is green revolution. So, correct option will be option A, food security. Okay. Under food security, the key pillars are availability of the food, accessibility of the food, utilization of the food, and stability. How stable the food distribution is, or the food grains distribution, or the consumption product distribution is. We focus on all these four things in case of food security. Next question is on trade policy. Which of the following is a price intervention to trade? So, in trade, which makes intervention that is related to price? Because of this, the price of imported goods will be high. Option A, import quota. Option B, voluntary export restraint. Option C, sanitary and phytosanitary measures. And option D, tariff. So the correct option will be option D, tariff. Okay, tariff is nothing but the tax imposed on the export and import. And import quota is controlling the volume of credit. Quota is nothing but we are controlling the volume of the importing goods. One day the particular quantity should enter the country. That is what we call it as import quota. And sanitary phytosanitary measures, it is something related to the quarantine measures to protect humans, animals, or plant from disease or pest or other toxins from the imported products. And voluntary export restraints, export restraint, we call it as VER. It is also a quantitative restriction. It is a self imposed quota. It is similar to import quota. Both import quota and voluntary export restraint is we will control the amount that is being imported in case of import quota, amount being exported in case of voluntary export restraint. Okay. And as I said already, tariff is a price intervention measure. It is a financial tax that will be imposed by the government on the imported goods just to maintain the cost of the goods in the country, within the domestic country. So these are the explanation given. Next is again on something related to trade. Under WTO, World Trade Organization, AMS includes aggregate measure of support includes option A, product specific subsidies. Option B, non-product specific subsidies. Option C, export subsidies. And option D, product and non-product export subsidies. So which is the correct option? The correct option is option D. It includes both product and non-product specific subsidies. Okay. Aggregate measures of support, which means that quantifying the annual monetary value of a country's trade distorting agricultural support, and it majorly consists of two things: product specific subsidies and non product specific subsidies. So while speaking about product specific subsidies, the prime example you can tell it as MSP, minimum support price, that we provide for a particular product, for paddy or for wheat or groundnut. Okay, so we directly provide the support for individual crop variety to guarantee a specific revenue to the farmers. And in case of non-product specific subsidy, it is given for fertilizers, agricultural electricity, irrigation facilities, and even providing cheap crop loan or credit for crops is all these things comes under non-product specific subsidy. We do not categorize product wise. It is generally for agriculture. So AMS concentrates both on product specific and non-product specific subsidies. Okay, and here this is important, and AMS comes under this amber box. Okay, there are three boxes under AOA. We call it as agreement on agriculture. We have already discussed it. Remember it as gap, green box, amber box, and blue box. Under green box, no distortion of trade. Under amber box, there is a little distortion of trade. Amber box with restriction is what we call it as blue box, and this AMS measure comes under the amber box. And our next question, so we have already discussed this question. It is from the same topic, trade. Policies used to describe domestic support policies that are not subject to reduction commitments. That is, the policies that do not distort the trade under Agreement on Agriculture in the World Trade Organization. So, option A, green box, option B, blue box, option C, amber box, option D, anti dumping. Anti dumping is something that is not related to the question, so ignore this, and remaining three. In the remaining three, which is the correct answer? So we have just discussed this. Try answering this in the comment box. Okay. And here we have successfully completed the part 2 of 2023 PYQs, where we concentrated on the production economics and the trade related concepts of agricultural economics. So hope you liked the video, and in each video I'm telling the same thing. This is not enough for your exam preparation. This is just to boost your confidence and make sure you are knowing the answer and test your knowledge level or your preparation level. So please make sure you join the regular classes and make use of all those concepts. And once again, thank you for watching the video, and all the best for your exam preparation. And we still have questions from 2023 itself. We'll cover it on part 3, and take care. Bye bye.